We want to give you just one more piece of how this all fits together, and then we'll talk to you about anything that you want to talk about. It is our expectation that you're going to live happily ever after as a result of this understanding that's going to come fully, momentously into your conscious awareness. Never again are you not going to understand what's happening to you or anybody else. You're going to understand the laws of the universe so vividly that you will never again wonder why it's happening to you the way it is, why it's happening to anybody else the way it is. And further, you're going to gain control, not all at once, not in one day at the fair, but you're going to gain control of your own vibrational output. And when you do, you will access the leverage of the energy that creates worlds, and you will find yourself with that magical energy and power and alignment and vitality and invincibility that you were born to experience. It's who you are. It's how it should be for you. So we've been talking to you about law of attraction for a very long time, haven't we? And many people are beginning to understand it. Many are misunderstanding it. But we want you to understand that law of attraction is responding to the vibration of that which is you. We also want you to understand that you've got two vibrational things going on at any point in time, because you were source energy before you came into this physical body, and even though you were born into this body, that larger part of you still exists. It is a vibrational you. It's a vibrational, co-creative you. And it's pure positive energy. So here you are in your physical body, sifting and sorting, knowing what you don't want, knowing what you do want, all day, every day, have been for a very long time, launching preferences, clear preferences of what you prefer. And each one of these vibrational launchings is received by the larger part of you. In other words, vibrationally speaking, the source within you is evolving and expanding as a result of the life that you're living here in this physical body. When you see someone hungry, you want more food for your planet. When someone is rude to you, you want nicer people in your life and in the lives of others. In other words, you are constantly expanding and improving through the life that you are living. And the source within you is taking that expansion immediately. So we've been then explaining to you that without even knowing it, you've been creating this vibrational reality. It's the vibrational version that precedes the manifested version. And we explained to you that the source within you is collecting and becoming all that you are asking for. And then you say, well, if that's true, then why is my life not improving? And we say, for one very easy to understand reason. You're launching the rockets by knowing what you don't want, but then you're not practicing the vibration of what you do want often. Instead, you're beating the drum of justification of why you want the improvement. And that's that efforting factor that we're talking about that is not serving you. You're trying so hard to get what you want by pointing out that this isn't fair and this is unjust, and Kate shouldn't have won that, and they don't want me to win. In other words, as you feel the unfairness and then you stand in the justification, because there's a part of you that knows, you innately understand that you are supposed to be winning. You are supposed to be feeling good. And when you're not, you understand that there's something wrong, and then you go about trying to explain why it's wrong and how long it's been wrong and what's really wrong about it and how others agree with you that it is wrong. So you continue to practice the vibration, a frequency that disallows what you want. So in order to help you bridge that gap between who you've become and who you're allowing yourself to be, we are offering a series of analogies. We want you first to understand that there is a vibrational version of you that you have access to, but you have to practice yourself into alignment with it. And on some subjects, that's easy for you to do because you've been practicing it, and on other subjects, it's more difficult for you to do. So then we began explaining to you, yes, there is the non-physical version of you, which you are contributing to constantly. This is just not the non-physical part of you that was before you were born that now you're trying to catch up with. This is the non-physical part of you that has been expanding and evolving as a result of the life that you're living here in this physical body. So this vibrational version, this vortex version of you exists. It is a reality that you have access to, but you've got to find the frequency. Just like you've got to broadcast and receive with your transmitting mechanisms. You can't set your radio dial on 101 AM and receive what's being broadcast on 97 FM. You have to be on the frequency that the broadcast is coming from. So this vortex version of you is broadcasting this prosperous, vibration of well-being, of alignment, of co-creation, of rendezvousing with all good things. The question is, are you on that frequency? And the answer is, if you feel good, yes. If you feel bad, no. Positive emotion means you're on the frequency or moving in on it, and negative emotion means that you're not. So then, as we've watched you, we've been calling this gathering the art of allowing for a number of years, because it's all about you figuring out how to allow that alignment. You figuring out how to hold a frequency consistently enough that you own it, that you know it, that you are it, that you be it. To establish a point of attraction with enough consistency that you allow momentum. Did you get that? Enough consistency that you allow momentum. Because when you say, I want it, but there's no momentum. I would like that, but you see, it's been hard for me. I want that, but my life's been very difficult for a very long time. Let me tell you the ways in which it has been difficult. And we say, stop talking about the ways in which it has been difficult, because you're killing the momentum of the desire that you just gave birth to. You gave birth to it and didn't allow it to get going. You give birth to it and don't allow it to get going. But imagine if you give birth to it and allow it to get going. If you give birth to it and allow it to get going. If you identify a new desire and are general enough in your conversation. Today we're going to go into new places, because who you are and who we are and who this all is cannot stand still. We are creators. We are joyous co-creators. And we are on a vibrational roll of masterful momentum, where you are discovering through the framework of your own life experience things that matter to you. And in the same moment that you do, the source within you and the vibration that is us is aware of your new discoveries and your new desires. So those like us are constantly carving out paths of least resistance for you in order to help you find that which you have become, to help you fully realize it so it can be actualized in your experience. We want you to realize the fullness of all that you have become. But before you can do that, you have to get the hang of this vibrational reality that we are all a part of. And you have to learn to read the vibrational nature of your being. When you're thinking about something that you don't want, you got 17 seconds to either decide it's something wanted and focus on it in order to continue the momentum, or 17 seconds to realize it isn't something that you want and to slow the momentum by lack of attention to it. Esther said to someone the other day, I've got something to tell you, and I only have 16 seconds to do it in. The thing that we really want you to be aware of is the momentum. The momentum. We want to ask you to consider the momentum that gets going with a thought. And there are plenty of beliefs. Beliefs are just thoughts that have plenty of momentum. And some of the beliefs that you hold serve you really, really well. And completely merge or mesh or align with the knowing that the source within you holds about you and everything that you think about. But some of your beliefs are not serving you well. And so some beliefs you want to encourage the momentum, some beliefs you want to slow the momentum. And so we'll be talking about that here today. We want you to realize that the way you increase momentum is just give it more attention. So if it feels good, focus on it more. Become as detailed as you can. That's when you want to rampage your appreciation about it. But if you're feeling negative emotion, that's not when you want to increase the momentum. That's not when you want to apply more attention. That's when you want to distract yourself. Haven't you ever tried to get to the bottom of an issue with someone that you love? Did you ever get to the bottom? There's no bottom. Law of attraction promises there's no bottom. There's no bottom to how good you can feel. There's no bottom to how bad you can feel. There's no bottom because everything is expanding. You've just got to understand it, what it feels like when you are flowing it and what it feels like when you're not. And so that's what we'll be talking about in these hours that we are together. You begin to get this invincible feeling when you understand that you are your point of attraction and that you can control your point of attraction. Then you begin to understand that you can carve out a path of least resistance to anything that you want. Better said, you can carve out a path of least resistance to anything wanted or unwanted. And do you know how you carve out a path of least resistance? By giving it attention. Because when you give it attention, you offer a vibration, and law of attraction brings more vibrations like it until a momentum begins to happen that carves out a path of least resistance between you and it. And as you carve out paths of least resistance between you and whatever your subject of attention is, then you go to it and it comes to you. You rendezvous. You become one. You become co-creative partners, wanted or unwanted, because you've carved out the path of least resistance. Esther has a beautiful stream and pond in Texas at the center, at the Abraham Hicks Publication Center. Such a pretty thing. And the stream, when it was first put in, was so clear. The fish were so beautiful, but over the years, it became increasingly cloudy until Esther realized she couldn't see the fish. So finally, it was determined that the pipes bringing the water back into the pond were all clogged up from neglect. So they just laid some new pipes. It was easier than digging the old ones out. It was easier than trying to clean the old ones out. They tried all of that. They just laid new pipes. New pipes from the pump to the pond. And right away, the pond cleared up. So we want to say to you that we love you so much, but you've got some clogged pipes. Because you're asking for things. Step one, you're asking. And non-physical, the universe, law of attraction, is delivering to you the results of your request. But if you are not in a vibrational place that matches what you're asking for, your pipes are all clogged up. So we think that it's time to lay some new pipes. We want to show you how, by giving attention to what you are wanting, you will carve out a path of least resistance to what you're wanting. We've enjoyed this interaction more than words can begin to describe or define. And we want to acknowledge the vibrational place that you now are. These conversations go longer than they need to, but in the process, we do manage to find vibrational alignment more and more and more with that high-flying disc. And you manage, by your willingness to play here, by your willingness to focus, and by sheer being in the environment of this higher flying energy, you've managed to sort of push a reset button that leaves you in a different point of attraction. And you're going to notice the different point of attraction. Some of the things we said you took a little issue with, and some of the things we said you felt full resonance with. And some of the things we said went over your head, and some of the things we said landed right squarely where you are. And it doesn't matter about any of that. But what matters most is that you are forever changed as a result of this vibrational adventure that we've been on here today. And if you will take advantage of that knowing and watch for the evidence, for the difference in the way your world is, for the difference in the way your relationships with everything are, a different relationship with everything is going to happen with you today. As you notice that difference in that relationship, then you will own this vibrational frequency that we discovered together today. And it will be easier for you to rediscover it tomorrow. Nothing's going wrong, and there isn't anything that you ought to do, and there are no rules and nothing that we want you to do that you're not doing. You're doing just fine. You're in the right place at the right time. You're standing perfectly in this place just as you intended to be. And so much wonderful life ahead of you. Life in this physical body. So much wonderful life ahead of you in this physical body. We can't even begin to describe all of the things that are before you. So much time in this physical body. So much joyous, delicious creating here. With all of us dead guys. There is great love here for you. And as always, we remain in the vortex.